Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Armourer's Bench. A week ago I attended the Soviet threat event at the Hat Green secret nuclear bunker in Cheshire. I was very pleased to run into some friends, Simon and Alan of the MECo group. They featured in videos on the channel before, and you may know Simon from his own channel, Rifleman More. They very kindly talked me through their display, looking at some of the personal kit of soldiers who fought during the Malayan Emergency. Sadly, the video does suffer from some wind noise, but that couldn't be helped on the day. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Armourer's Bench. I'm here with Simon and Alan of the MECo group, and they have a brilliant Malayan display. They're going to talk us through it. So guys, over to you.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to run through the basic display we have here. I'm going to just demonstrate a particular part of it, which is quite a nice historical recreation of the way kit was carried at the time. So what we have on display here is two men's kit, as it were. Start at the front and sort of walk back. What we have over here, starting on the left-hand side of the display as you're looking at here, a man's belt kit set with elements of the 1944 pattern weather equipment. With a locally made pouch carrying magazines for the Owen gun here. So you carry 3 of those there. Water bottle in the middle, a locally produced rang knife, which we quite commonly carry, very popular, slightly more handy than the longer machete. And then a basic pouch on the other side there could be used to carry grenades, potentially another magazine, for example, for the Owen gun. We also have rations here as well. Obviously rations were also airdropped in, but men would go into the jungle carrying about 3 days' supply, and they'd then be resupplied as needed, depending on the length of the patrol. You have an example of that there, various tinned items, biscuits, chocolates, you have condensed milk and jam in tubes. We also have the can opener at the front there as well. Let's bring those up to the camera so we can have a look.
A nice toothpaste tube of condensed milk.
Yes, and the same for the jam as well. So you could get your biscuit and just apply the jam to the biscuit. You could squeeze the condensed milk into the ration tea when you brewed up the tea. And it's a good way of carrying them. You can put the cap back on and you can come back to it and, squeeze a bit more out when you needed it. We also have at the back there haversack with a poncho rolled up underneath, and that's what Alan's going to demonstrate shortly, is how that's all been packed in there. Various items of clothing and a blanket and so forth rolled up in there. Propped up against the bamboo with a man-pack carrier, part of the late war jungle kit, which was used to some degree out in Malaya as well. So just an example of one of those there. An example to talk about when we're running through the display. 1944 pattern water bottle in the centre there, another example. We've got the insect repellent below that in the double-ended tube. With a torch, again part of a late war jungle kit. The hold all underneath there with the millbank bag, the filter bag for water on top of that. So you fill that with water and it would act as a filter out the sediment from the water. Another part of that process, you have water sterilising tablets in front of that. 2 bottles, sterilising tablets and bio tablets. 1 to sterilise the water, 1 in theory to take away the taste of the sterilisation. And then you have foot powder to the right of that. Obviously very important in jungle situations to try and limit the effects of the jungle conditions on the feet. Never going to eliminate that, but at least something to try and combat it. We then have an example of the 1944 pattern machete there, the handle wrapped in twine to give more of a grip. Bandolier of 50 rounds of 303 ammunition. Of course, the Owen is not the only weapon displayed here. We have the number 5 rifle as well, which of course uses 303 ammunition and charges. A box of ammunition here. Behind that we have a reproduction, but a number 80 grenade, a white phosphorus grenade there. And then we have the cleaning kit for the rifle behind that. Another method of carrying kit on the back is the pack we have here. The 1944 pattern haversack was fairly good carrying capacity, but still in some situations it wasn't enough. So the old 1908 and then 1937 pattern pack was brought back into service, sometimes pressed into service in the jungle as well. Beneath that we have an example of the toggle rope that we used at the time. These are again part of the late war jungle kit. They were lighter and rock-proofed compared to the earlier ones issued during the Second World War. We've already mentioned the number 5 rifle at the side here. Obviously very synonymous with jungle operations post-World War II. It's where it gets its jungle carbine nickname from. Of course, not an official term, but that's where it comes from. And then we have an example of the Bren Mark III at the side here as well. So these are 3 of the most common weapons seen The Owen, of course, being, just to come back to it, Australian submachine gun or machine carbine. Far better than the Sten, far more reliable, and this is why it was preferred, and it was actually supplied to British troops out in the jungle, as well as the Australian troops who were fighting alongside them in Malaya. So that's sort of a run through of our display. Last thing to mention, actually, we've got the hammock at the back there, parachute silk sleeping bag in there, and then a 1944 pattern poncho over the top of there. Not particularly prototypical the way it's set up. It just makes a backdrop for the display and shows, obviously, in the limited sort of situation we have here, you know, sort of a setup just to show how it looks when it is set up, even though this is obviously with the bamboo frame and everything a little different from how they would actually have been used in the jungle. So that's an overview of the display. Great, thank you.
What we have here is the haversack, and underneath it is the poncho, which was part of the 1944 pack equipment. The common way of carrying kit is to roll it up inside the poncho, a spare jacket, a pair of trousers. These would be used for sleeping in at night.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you take off your wet, dirty uniform, you put on the dry shirt and trousers just to be to sleep in.
Right.
Then in the morning, you take off the dry stuff, put on the wet, cold stuff for the next day, and so on. So at least at night, you have clean, dry stuff.
Right, I see.
So you don't get chilled at night.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Troops often carried half a blanket. This is the late war jungle lightweight blanket. It's actually been cut in half to reduce weight. So there's just enough to cover you at night. Just there to give you that little bit of warmth and the chill of a jungle night. Troops also often made a sleeping bag out of parachute material, which had been salvaged from airdrops. This gives you a little bit of warmth, and it also gives you protection against mosquitoes. You put it over the head, you tighten it down, and it stops them biting you.
Fascinating. Thanks, Alan. So there we go. Special thanks to Alan and Simon for talking us through their display. Do check out the MECo page on Facebook and Simon's channel on YouTube. And thank you to Lauren for her excellent camera work. Again, sorry for the wind noise, but it was a deceptively windy day. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Please do consider supporting the channel, and please do share the videos with friends as well. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.